Okay, so as you know, here for the WSOP, and I'm doing something different this year. I'm going to be doing it not just this year, but throughout every single tournament I play, and it's something called honest tournament results. So as a cash game player, one of the things that I always found interesting is that, the only measurement of a tournament player's success really, or the only actual record of it, is if you go online, look at like Hendon Mob or something like that, and you can actually see all the events that they cashed in and how much money they made and so on and so forth. But what you don't see is how much money they spend in actual entry fees. So somebody could have 7 or 8 or $10 million, but we don't really know, in wins, but we don't really know exactly how much money they spent to get to that 10 million. So I always found it weird because I was like, well, if I want to make a certain amount of money in tournaments, all I could do is just buy in the highest events and like min cash and so on and so forth. And I may not really be profitable over the long run, but I might be, it might look very impressive when you actually look at that number. And I always found this weird. So I'm starting this trend of what I call honest tournament results. So what I'm basically doing is posting every single live tournament I ever play, in addition to if I was backed or if I swapped any action, and just have a full breakdown so you can actually see, how much money is lost and won and what the real ROI is on all my events. I'm also doing it because it keeps me accountable. It makes me guarantees I play my best poker, and I find that that's helpful as well. And I really think for any of you who are playing right now, I'm a big fan of keeping records and making sure you keep track of all the events that you played and everything that you actually enter in. And you should be doing the same thing for tournaments. You should know like your hourly rate for tournaments. You should know your win rate, your cash rating. All that stuff should be logged. So I'm going to make it publicly available starting in a week. I'm just finishing up the part on the website, but yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. It's a way of holding me accountable, and it's also just a way I think more poker players should do this, because I think there's a lot of players that look up to other players and they go, oh, I want that 6 million, I want that. But the reality is, if you really look at what that player is going through, given the fact that they sell a significant portion of their action, given the fact that they might owe makeup or something like that, they're not really making that much money, right? Like maybe they making a 6-figure salary a year, which is incredible, and it's nothing to actually it's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm just saying that it would be nice to see more holistic numbers of what actually goes into tournament poker, not even including like travel and airfare and hotels and all that other stuff that cuts into that actual win rating. So I'm really interested. I'm curious to see how well I do, and this is another method for keeping me accountable. So I'll post a link in a couple of days, especially when I start vlogging. I'll put all of the vlogs that I do connected to the actual tournament, so that there's actually a record of what tournaments I played, what was my state, what was my emotionality, how focused I was, so on and so forth. It's just a really good way of logging it. I'm a big fan of these public accountability things, because anytime I do something in public, I'm just way more likely to actually follow through than if you do it yourself. So for those of you, if you make a public commitment, I think it's going to work out as well. So yeah, hope I post some good results, and look forward to adding that up next week.